The colony moon of Arcturus 7 was supposed to be safe. That's what they told Nick when his family relocated to the mining outpost 3 cycles ago. Safe, profitable, and perfectly mundane. They forgot to mention the shadow predators. Nick heard Kiza's scream before he saw the creature. He'd been cataloging mineral samples near the crystalline forest when the sound pierced the twilight. A sharp, terrified cry that made his human instincts surge with adrenaline. Without thinking, he dropped his equipment and ran toward the source. He found her pinned against a luminescent tree trunk, her silvery Valtorian skin almost glowing in the dim light. The shadow predator loomed over her, its body a writhing mass of darkness that seemed to absorb the very light around it. 6 eyes gleamed like dying stars across its formless head, and its maw dripped with venom that hissed against the ground. "Hey!" Nick shouted, grabbing a rock and hurling it at the creature. It was a stupid move, and he knew it. Shadow predators were apex hunters, nearly impossible to kill, and absolutely territorial. But Kiza's violet eyes were wide with terror, and something primal in Nick refused to let him walk away. The creature turned its attention to him, and Nick felt his blood run cold. It moved like liquid night, flowing across the ground faster than anything that size should move. Nick barely had time to raise his arm before it struck, its fangs sinking deep into his forearm. The pain was beyond description. It felt like molten metal and ice simultaneously coursing through his veins. Nick screamed, but he didn't let go of the jagged crystal shard he'd grabbed. With his free hand, he drove it deep into one of the creature's eyes. The shadow predator shrieked, a sound that shattered nearby crystal formations and released him. Black ichor sprayed from its wounded eye as it retreated into the forest, leaving Nick collapsed on the ground, his arm already turning dark purple around the bite marks. Kiza rushed to his side, her 3-fingered hands trembling as she examined the wound. No, she whispered in accented standard. "Human, why did you—" "Shadow predator venom is lethal to most species. You shouldn't have— couldn't let it hurt you," Nick managed through gritted teeth. The venom was spreading fast, dark veins spiderwebbing up his arm toward his shoulder, his vision blurred. Kiza's eyes filled with luminescent tears. She pressed her communicator with shaking hands. "Emergency. Human colonist needs immediate extraction. Shadow predator bite." Then softer, she whispered to Nick, "Hold on. Please hold on. I'm the daughter of the Valtorian Monarch. My mother will send help. You saved me. We don't forget debts of life." Nick wanted to tell her it was okay, that he didn't need thanks, but darkness was creeping in at the edges of his vision. He thought he heard the sound of ships descending, felt himself being lifted, but it all seemed very far away. When Nick woke, he wasn't in the colony's medical bay. The room around him was vast, with walls that seemed to be made of living crystal pulsing with soft light. Advanced medical equipment he'd never seen hummed around him, and standing at his bedside was a being of incredible presence, tall, regal, with skin like polished moonstone and a crown of crystalline formations growing naturally from her head. "The human wakes," the monarch said, her voice resonating with power and something else. Warmth. "I am Sovereign Lyra, ruler of the Valtorian Collective. You saved my daughter." Nick tried to sit up, but his body felt strange. He looked down at his arm, expecting to see rot and decay. Instead, his skin looked normal, healthy even. Better than normal. He felt stronger. "The venom should have killed you within minutes," the monarch continued, studying him with fascination. "Shadow predator toxin is fatal to 99% of known species. But humans—" She paused, a slight smile crossing her features. "Humans are remarkable. Your body didn't just survive the venom, it adapted to it. Your immune system turned a deadly poison into something else entirely. Our doctors have never seen anything like it." Kiza appeared in the doorway, her eyes brightening when she saw Nick was awake. "You're okay." "Mother, is he really?" "More than okay," the monarch confirmed. "The human's biology has incorporated aspects of the venom. He's stronger now, faster. His reflexes are enhanced. In trying to kill him, the shadow predator made him more formidable." Nick flexed his hand, feeling the truth of her words. He could sense things he couldn't before. The electromagnetic fields around the equipment, the subtle vibrations in the floor, even the heartbeats of Kiza and her mother. The monarch stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You risked everything for my daughter, asking nothing in return. This is the way of humans, I am learning. Recklessly brave, impossibly resilient, and fiercely protective of those weaker than themselves." She straightened, her voice taking on a formal tone. "The Valtorian Collective owes you a life debt. But more than that, you have earned our respect and friendship. You will want for nothing, Nick of Earth. And should you ever need the might of our people, you need only ask." Nick looked at Kiza, who smiled at him with gratitude and something else, admiration. He thought about his simple life cataloging rocks and how one moment of instinct had changed everything. "I didn't do it for a reward," he said quietly. "We know," the monarch replied. "That's precisely why you deserve one. That's why humans are so dangerous to their enemies and so valuable to their friends. You don't calculate the odds. You simply act when action is needed." As Nick stood testing his transformed body, he realized the monarch was right. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their intellect. It was their refusal to back down when someone needed help, even when logic dictated they should. The shadow predator had tried to kill him. Instead, it had created something new. A human who wouldn't just risk death to save an alien girl, but who now had the power to do it again and again. And the galaxy was about to learn what that meant.